Hello everybody, this is Todd Frazee and this is the modeling tutorial for the Stirling engine S60-103 heating tube. Okay, so here's our drawing we're working from. This particular part is a make from, so you're making it from a part number bought from McMaster-Carr. And it is a test tube, and so the dimensions are defined on the specifications for that test tube for the inside and outside diameter, and our machine shop would need to trim the thing down to this length here. We also on this product have a spherical radius, okay, and its resultant will be controlled by the diameters in the geometry. So for this part, it's a cylindrical part that has features on the profile that goes along a center line. It's probably the best way to model this is to revolve it. So we're going to use a revolve technique. Okay, so let's go to SolidWorks and we're going to go to the sketch menu if it's not already by default. And we're going to select the sketch menu item and our plane should appear. And we want to look at the primary view is probably going to be the side profile because it shows the most detail. So we're going to select the front plane for our sketch. Now all revolved entities in this software needs a center line. So let's just start off by drawing a center line rooted on origin. Okay, so that is our first constraint. This is by having geometry tied to origin. Think of it as like a dog on a leash. Okay, the dog might be on a leash that could move around, but it can't go any farther than whatever your leash length is. So we're going to put a horizontal center line, and then you're going to hit the escape key to exit the line command on your keyboard. So we're going to draw basically a half profile of it, and think of it as a shape that would be spun around a circle. Like if you're using a potting wheel and you put a template up to it and that clay was spinning, this would give you the profile of your shape as it's dragged across the clay. Alright, so we're going to use the line command, and if you hover over origin and come straight up, you see how you have a hidden line? If you do it right, it will possibly put a relationship there for you. And we're going to draw from the inside profile first. So we're going to draw a horizontal line. Okay, and we want to make sure that's constrained horizontal with the little green horizontal line. And you're going to drag off to the left. Now, an interesting feature of the line tool is you can also do radiuses, simple radiuses on it. And to do that, you take your cursor and go back to the joint between the two lines and come back out, and you'll be making an arc. Okay, so let's make that arc. Let's make it a 90-degree arc if you can. Click that. Then if we were to go horizontal, okay, we're drawing the thickness of our tube, and then we're going to draw another radius. And let's see if this one cooperates. Well, it's not exactly cooperating, but we can fix that. So go ahead and click. We're going to do a horizontal line, line it up with the opposite end, and then straight down to close the loop. Now let's hit the escape key and fix this funny looking arc. It assumed tangency for me. We don't want tangency there, but we do want tangency between the horizontal line and the arc. So to delete these relationships, you just highlight the relationship itself, click it, and then hit the delete key on your keyboard. Now I'm going to add a tangent relationship between the line and this arc, and so I've got that now. And the last thing to fix it should be just dragging the center of it over and the thickness there. So you might not have gotten that result, but we're close. Now everything's unconstrained here because the entire shape isn't tied to origin. So you want to zoom in and you want to be careful when you highlight things. If I highlight the center of this line, it's going to get the midpoint. If you pick on an endpoint, it's going to select that. For this particular thing, I want to make this entire line, so make sure I'm selecting below the auto on the line so that it's highlighted in orange. And select that. Hold this shift key down so you can select another item. We're going to select origin, and we want to make that vertical line coincident or aligned with the origin. Okay, there we go. Let's hit accept. Okay, that line now turns black. It is constrained so that that line has to always be tied to origin. Okay. Now, this item has a consistent wall thickness. So we want to select this vertical line that's defining the wall thickness. Hold the shift key on your keyboard down and pick this horizontal line, and the relationships that show up on the left, we want them to be equal in length. That way we can put one dimension on it and it'll always update the other one. Okay, so now we've got a relationship where this line and this line here have to be the same size. Okay, next thing. If this had a consistent wall thickness, this endpoint and this endpoint would align vertically. So let's highlight this first dot, then our second dot, and we're going to put a vertical relationship in. All right. So now our shape looks consistent. It's still not on size, and a lot of it's still blue. So just to review on the constraints, right now we've constrained this end, but everything else is not. So we could move these features around right now because they're not constrained by a dimension or a relationship. Okay, this is still called a constraint. All right, well, let's get this other end of the tube constrained to the center line. Okay, so let's highlight the outside corner of the arc. Hold your shift key down and we're going to select the end of our center line. And we want to make those points coincident with each other. That means they lay in the same exact spot. Oops, got a little bit of a flip there. That's okay. We're going to hit OK on that issue, and then we just drag. There we go. We'll drag this onto the opposite side. Okay. Sometimes you have a dramatic change and you just got to find the right edge to pull on. SOLIDWORKS is very flexible, so rather than completely starting over with a new sketch, try to manipulate the existing sketch. You don't want to have a whole string of sketches that aren't used for anything. Okay, so we pretty much have this constrained with all the relationships we need involved. Now we need to put dimensions. So we don't have any dimensions telling SOLIDWORKS what size they are. So let's go back to our drawing and let's see what dimension we want to add first. So if we go to the drawing, we have two diameters and we have a length. So let's do these two diameters. So we have a 611 thousandths and a 563 thousandths. We go back to SOLIDWORKS and we're going to define the two diameters. Now there's a neat function in SOLIDWORKS where if you select a center line and then select a dimension that is radial, you can click on it like this and put a radius, or you can snap over here down below the center line and put it in as a diameter. Okay, so I'm going to click here. Let's go back to our drawing. It's 563 thousandths. 0.563. We're going to hit select. Okay, so now we have this line black because it's now defined by a dimension from our center line, which is attached to origin. Okay, so it is now constrained in that sense. Our dimension was 3 place decimals, and our document's defaulting to 2. So let's put 3, and let's center the dimension so that it's always centered on whatever length that is. And we're going to hit accept. Okay, now let's do one more. We're going to go center line. We're going to go from, dimension from center line to the outside dimension, and then drag it down so that it's a diameter. Let's look at our drawing. That is 611 thousandths, 0.611. Now we have the outside diameter defined, and the top line is now turned black because it's fully constrained. This one also is the 3 place decimals, and we do want to center it. And on our print I gave you, it's a reference dimension, so let's make it a reference. And I neglected to make the 563 a reference, so let's double click on that and fix it. Piece of cake. Done. Alright, now what's left? What can still move around? If you're not sure, you can start dragging on stuff. Okay, right now the length is not constrained. Right now we're telling SolidWorks this test tube can be as long or short as we want. But we don't know. It's undefined, so when the person making it isn't going to have that information. So we're going to do our dimension. Okay, and you could do it from origin. I would suggest doing it from this vertical line. It forces the dimension to be in a horizontal plane. And then we go to the end point of our test tube, drag up. We got a length. We go back to our drawing. That length is 2 inches and 90 thousandths. So we're going to put 2.09. We're going to accept that length. And let's center the dimension. Okay. We'll hit accept. Now, you shouldn't have a negative symbol by your sketch anymore. If there's a little negative symbol over here, there's still something undefined. Now, occasionally I've seen a glitch in SolidWorks, especially running across a network, that sometimes it'll have that symbol there, but it is fully constrained. If you're not sure, exit, and then you can always come back in, and sometimes it's refreshed. Okay, so just be aware of that. If you think you've got it fully constrained, there's a problem. If not, you probably have an errant piece of geometry. Even the center line or a point hidden here or a duplicate line is a pretty common reason we're not constrained. Okay, it means there's something in the model that's not fully defined. Okay, now let's go to features, and we're going to do a revolve base. And it will auto select, if you're in the sketch, the center line, and your profile is this curve that's spinning around. So our preview shows you're going to have this hollow shape. Okay. Now we're going to hit accept, and there's our shape. Okay. Now we're going to do properties. For this particular one, we're going to edit the material, and it's glass. You could look it up on MasterCard. It is a specific type of glass, but we don't have, we just have basic glass in our standard library. So we go into, I think it's other non-metals, and you can select glass as your material and hit apply. And hit close, and it should show up clear. Now there are some ways, if you want to get fancy, you can go in and do some rendering and change the tint of the glass and things like that. So we're done with the model, but we need to put in our properties. So let's go in and put our properties. This will save you time later when you're doing the drawing part. Okay, so our first property, we're going to pick description. Our second property is going to be part number. Our next property is going to be revision. The next one is going to be material. The one following that is going to be the drawn by, and you're going to select the drawn date. Then we're going to select company name. And on this one, because we have a vendor, we're going to select vendor. And that'll be where we put the note that this is a MasterCard part number. Description, this is the heating tube. Remember to do everything capitals. Part number is the S60-103, I think. Yeah, 103. Our revision is 1, so this has been changed once. Our material is going to be make from part number and on some of the prints it looks like it has a little cross. That is a glitch. That part number is actually a 1, so that's a glitch in my printer. So it's 2378142, I believe, is the part number. So let's go to here and we can cut and paste that information and change that to a 1. It's either that or I typoed it when I did this the first time. Okay, drawn by, let's put your first initial, dot, and your last name. And the drawn by date is going to be the date today, so 2/6/2024, 2025, wrong year. And our company name is Sierra College. And our vendor is McMaster-Car PN for part number. You could put a more elaborate note, or you could put vendor, but the field on the drawing when you see it is just a general note area. So let's hit OK. All right, and make sure you're saving early and often. Again, you're going to save it as the S60-103, and then it's going to be underscore R1, your first initial, and your last name, separated by underscores. Okay, you're then going to save that, and then you're going to upload that solid part file to Canvas. All right, that concludes this tutorial, and we'll catch you on the next one.